All right, welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. It is at 9 p.m. Eastern, and so glad that you can join us tonight. See several people already coming into the room, so welcome everybody. Glad that you are here. We've already had one live session earlier this afternoon, had a great group of people come out, and lots of great questions about membership sites and how to launch one and how to maintain one. And so we're so glad that you're here. You guys could be doing a lot of things tonight, and you've chosen to invest in yourself and in your business. And so tonight is all about launching a membership site. And we're going to walk through a blueprint together that I think you're going to really love. I know the earlier session today, people were really getting into it and asking some awesome questions and really enjoying it. And I've got a free gift to give you as well for being here tonight. So I always love to find out where people are tuning in from. So if you'll take a minute in the chat box and just tell me your first name and where you are viewing this workshop tonight. So take a moment, put that in there, and we're about to get started. Just letting a few other people trickle in here. And as you can see, I'm right here in my home office and ready to go, ready to talk all about launching a membership site. So while I'm waiting for you guys to fill in the conversation, again, let me know your first name and where you're from. I know I've already seen several people that are in the room already. So glad that you guys are here. While we're waiting for that to happen, I've been, for those of you who may not know, I've been running a membership site almost for 2 years now. It's actually coming up on 2 years here in just a couple of months. And it has been one of the most rewarding things I've done. Not only from just having some financial stability in my online business, but also an opportunity to get closer to my customers and to serve them on a regular, ongoing basis. I've really enjoyed it. I love running membership sites. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. And it really doesn't matter what your topic or your passion is. I think membership sites work great for just about any topic. So it looks like we got Tim from Lafayette. Welcome, Tim, and Casey from Eugene, Oregon, and Lois from Arkansas, Ann from Pennsylvania. Hey, Ann. Harry from Macon, Georgia. You got Shannon from Saginaw, Texas. So I know there's many more of you that have yet to pop in your name, but we're so glad that you're here. And if you guys have questions or you come with questions, go ahead and ask them in that question and answer box. And we're going to get to plenty of your questions. And hey, there's Ryan from Sydney, Australia. Welcome, Ryan. So glad you guys are here. So we're going to jump in. I want to make this worth your time. The actual teaching part, I'm going to help you walk through. And by the end of tonight, you'll have at least a skeleton idea of a blueprint for moving forward and launching your membership site. When I finally decided to launch my membership site, I went from the deciding to launching it within 90 days and picked up just over 150 members. Some of you tonight have probably been through the course I created on how I built a $2,960 a month membership site in 90 days. And we'll get into some of that, but I want you to know up front that we're not just reteaching what we already teach in that particular course, but we are going to jump in and really dive into the topic tonight and help you walk away with a blueprint. I see that Tip from Miami says, has it started yet? I don't hear or see anything. Yes, you may need to refresh your page or jump out and jump back in because from what I can tell, you guys are able to hear me and see me, obviously, because you've responded already. So yeah, so I'm going to pull up this presentation and we're going to just dive in and kind of walk you through some of the steps tonight. And if you'd like to, you can take notes. I'm actually going to share with you a one-page blueprint so that you can basically have a one-page strategy sheet for launching and running your membership site. And so at the end, I'm going to actually show you how you can get the one that I've designed and the PDF copy of that as well. All right. So before we jump in, for those of you who maybe don't know me all that well, or you haven't really followed me much, maybe you saw that we were running this workshop on Twitter or Facebook or somewhere else. I have been blogging since 2009, and I originally started a blog as a career coach blog. And today you can find that blog at jonathanmilligan.com. Today we talk about careers and self-development, personal growth, and much more than that. But it originally started off as a career coach blog. And over the course of a couple of years, was able to create 12 different income buckets that allowed me the opportunity to do what I'm doing today, which is working full-time as a full-time blogger, writer, speaker, entrepreneur, off my 2 blogs. The other blog I started in 2011, many of you might follow me there, and that's Blogging Your Passion. And it really is designed to help people who have something they're passionate about take their passion idea and turn it into a profitable online business. Of course, I have a couple podcasts, Blogging Your Passion podcast and the Simple Life Habits podcast. And then those are some of the places I've had the opportunity to be featured. Entrepreneur on Fire, Lifehacker, michaelhyatt.com, Business Week, and some others. So that is a little bit about me. As far as membership sites, I launched Blogging Your Passion University, the membership site, about 2 years ago, and have been managing and running that today. And now we have several hundred members that are involved in that particular membership site, and thousands of people that have taken the Blogging Your Passion University courses. All right. So like I mentioned before, tonight is about helping you take this big, overwhelming idea of a membership site and break it down to its smallest parts and create for yourself a one-page strategy sheet, a blueprint, where you can know exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. And you can make this membership site a win-win for not only for your potential customers, but also for you. I have met and ran into people who used to have membership sites, and they would tell me, man, it was successful financially, but it absolutely was too much for me to manage. It took over my life. I couldn't do anything else. And so we're going to talk about how to make it a win-win. How can you make it a win for your customers, but also have a membership site that doesn't run you? And so that's important. And so tonight, as soon as we get to the end of this, I'm going to give you a link you're going to be able to download this free PDF blueprint. And we're going to walk through these steps tonight. And if you want to, and you got a piece of paper nearby, you could go ahead and draw out the boxes as you see them on the screen so that you can kind of initially jot down some ideas while we go through each section of this blueprint. So basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to copy what you see on your screen and have 4 boxes at the top of your paper and then 4 boxes all along the bottom. The reason the 4 boxes are along the bottom like they are, because we're going to talk about this in a minute, is they're the 4 pillars. I believe these are the 4 pillars that make for a successful membership site, and everything else rests on it. So it's we're going to kind of walk through this step by step. And again, if you get lost along the way, you're going to get access to this free PDF blueprint at the end. And like always, again, because I know there's many more people that have come into the room since we've started this, that if you guys have questions, ask those questions. I won't be stopping in the middle of the presentation. I'm going to keep moving through the different pieces, but I will come back around to your questions. So feel free to ask them as we go along. All right, let's jump in and let's learn something tonight. Okay, so there's 3 essential parts to what we're going to talk about tonight. And so part 1 is your big why. Now, this is important that you understand what it is that your membership site does and why, and what the solution is that you're providing for it. See, so many times it's easy for us to just jump headlong into something because we like the idea of a membership site. We like the idea of the passive income that a membership site can give us. We like the idea of having many customers that we service over and over again. But if we don't nail down our why, we are going to be scattered, and we're not going to produce the product that's going to be the most helpful to our customers. And being scattered is what causes us to be overrun by our own membership site. So let's dive into the specifics. So on the drawing that the blueprint, let me just back up here so you can see it. We're going to be looking at the top left 2 boxes. Okay, so this is what's going to help you establish your big why. And that's the top 2 boxes. The first question, the top left box, is the question, what problem are you solving? Now, this is important for you to jot down 3, 4 things that come to mind. So maybe even right now, you need to really jot this down is, what problem are you solving? Because this is really important. And it's important because what can happen, and I'll be talking about this in a minute, is we become this idea of, well, we just need to cram a bunch of stuff in our membership site so it looks like people are paying for plenty of stuff to look at. And we want to be careful about that. We want to actually think about the potential problem that our membership site is going to solve. Let me give you an example, a specific example of why I created my membership site. So I had created back in 2011 and late 2012, Blogging Your Passion University, 3 different courses. It was a 101 course, a 201 course, and a 301 course. And these courses were basically, you were buying tutorial videos that you can watch online. There was no community aspect where you could get to know other bloggers. There was no real interaction with me personally where you could ask questions. You could always reach out to me by email, but there was not any kind of live ongoing training or anything like that. And so I began to look at that and say, how could we make our courses better? How could we help our audience who has this passionate idea turn it into this profitable business? What are their hangups? What are their struggles? What are their challenges? So actually, and some of you that are on here tonight may have been a part of it. We actually did some Google Hangouts where we just got feedback from some of you guys, and we said, many of you have taken our courses. We know that people have benefited from it because of the testimonials we've received, but what is missing that could be helpful? And what we began to identify was that many of these bloggers and many of you felt completely alone. You felt isolated. You had questions that you figured you were having a hard time getting answers to. So you go and you try to Google it, and then an hour later, you're nowhere. And so how do I get the right answers? Or you see these answers on Google and you're not sure if you can trust the source. And so getting answers to questions, being able to ask questions and get those answers was important. Being a part of a community where you feel like you were being encouraged and had the opportunity to collaborate with other bloggers was important. And so we began to see that there were some holes in what we were doing. This led me to say, this is the perfect reason for starting an ongoing, every month, Blogging Your Passion University, because it would create kind of the latest teaching and content that people can get help with. And we have office hours every single month where people can answer their questions and get answers to those struggles that they were facing. Plus, we had a community element and a forum along with a private Facebook group where they could interact with other bloggers along the way. And so I knew based on the conversation that I had I knew the specific problems that I was going to solve and how the membership site was going to solve them. And that's so important that you understand that and you hear that. And some of you you may not need to have, talk to your customers or anything like that. You may be able to just jot down what it is that you're problem solving. What problem you are solving. So for example, I mean, think about whatever niche that you're in. People are looking for you to help them solve this problem. And they're looking to you for advice and counsel and for a step-by-step process, which leads me to the second box, which is how do you solve the problem? So once you've identified what those potential problems are, now you got to solve the problem. So maybe the potential problem is if you're a finance coach, people are in debt and they don't have access to, they're not living on a budget. Or if you're a fitness coach, they're overweight. Or if you're a life coach or relationship coach, they're stressed out. They don't have healthy relationships. Whatever it is, you picture that. I always try to say this. Picture that there's a river and a stream that's running down the center of this picture. And on the right side of the bank is you, because you've had the opportunity to solve the problem, or you've went through that struggle, or you went through that challenge and you've come out on the other side, and your customers are on the other side. What are the steps to help them cross the river to get over to the other side? And how are you going to solve the problem? And now this is a very important distinction here, because here's what happens with membership sites. We begin to think that its volume is better than less with value. So we think more is better. And so what happens is we begin to create this encyclopedia of a membership site that completely overwhelms our audience. When in fact, what they're wanting is they're wanting very specific step-by-step instruction from you on certain topics. Let me give you an example, and I always use this example. Let's say that I was making $5,000 a month from Facebook ads, and I decided to create a course on how I make $5,000 a month on Facebook ads. Now, if you were to join my course, you would expect to hear my exact process. You want a proven roadmap, a proven process for how to do something. You would value that. If it was only 10 videos and I came through on my promise, you would value that over 100 videos that was about every single type of Facebook ad and every single little potential twist or turn with Facebook ads, or if I just decided to create an encyclopedia of Facebook ads, it's much less valuable than me teaching, hey, I just use this one ad. This is how I do my headline. This is how I choose my target audience, and walk you through a specific process. So hopefully that makes sense. But for those of you who may be starting out thinking, man, I'm just overwhelmed with this huge thought of doing a membership site, you can simply keep things simple and still be very valuable. So for me, and I'll be talking about frequency of delivering content in just a minute, but I'll give you an exact example. For me, there is regular video tutorial content that's in there for the 101 blogger, the 201 blogger, and the 301 blogger. So I've got something for every level of blogger. And then I add 2 pieces of content every single month. The first one is a fast track class that is the latest information, much like what you're receiving right now would be like a fast track class, where I take a specific topic, whether it's social media or a specific social media platform, or blog post writing, or networking with other people, or creating your own product, or building your email list, whatever it is, and I give teaching out. And so I do this once a month class, fast track class. And then the second piece of content I deliver is an office hours where it's totally open for over an hour. You can submit questions about anything that you're struggling with and get answers to those questions so that you can move forward. And so for me, that solves two specific problems. My audience wants to be able to know the latest and greatest. What is the latest thing that that I can do to improve my blog, not something that's 2 or 3 or 4 years old? And then how can I get answers to my question? And then the third thing is we have an awesome community. We have a forum inside the membership site, plus we've added a private Facebook group that works really well so that there's interaction that's happening amongst the members. All right, so that's the why. What problem are you solving? Just jot down a few ideas. And how do you solve the problem? All right, let's move on to number 2 out of 3 here. Now we're going to talk about the who and the what. The who and the what. And by the way, I see we've got more people that have just come in here. Thank you guys for being here. Go ahead and ask your questions. And I see Casey's already asked the question about attrition rate. I will share that with you and give you my experience with that in just a little bit once I get through the main part of this content. So if you will hang on, I will answer that question and any other questions that come in. So let's talk about the who and the what. These are the 2 right boxes on our blueprint. And if you've kind of jotted out that blueprint that I shared with you earlier, and then go ahead and write these 2 questions in there. Who is this for? And what makes it unique? So let's talk about the top box. Who is this for? Now you might think, well, isn't this obvious? Well, but here's the problem. Many of us, and I've even had this conversation as recently as the last couple months with a good friend of mine who is working at launching a membership site. And he wants his membership site he believes it's for anyone and it's for everyone. The problem is when you speak and you try to speak to everyone, you end up speaking to no one. And so we have to be able to speak very specifically. And by the way, let me just back up a second here. You may be saying, well, why is it important for me to think through these boxes? Let me give you one of the most powerful reasons for doing this. Because you can use this 1-page blueprint that you're working on with me tonight. You can use it in communicating and in compelling people to join your membership site. This information is going to go on your sales page. This information is going to be on your blog post where you talk about your membership site, on a podcast, on a webinar. So this information is very important for you to be able to speak their language. And so you want to be able to do that. So identifying who is this for is very important. I'll give you actually a practical example. Just today, I wrote a new blog post on bloggingyourpassion.com. And it's actually about the book launch that I am undertaking called The 15 Success Traits of Pro Bloggers. And so this is something I've been working on for some time now. And you can go check it out. Actually, you can pull it up right now if you want. Just go to bloggingyourpassion.com because I want to show you how I've used this very specifically. So even with this book launch, I walk through this process of identifying my audience, what their struggles are, how I was going to solve the problem. And what I've got here in this blog post is something I learned from Don Miller. Some of you maybe have read some of his books, Blue Like Jazz, or what is it, 1,000 Steps in a Million Years, or I forget exactly what the title is. I've read the book, but can't remember right now. But he has a very specific process that he calls story branding. And story branding is where your customer is the hero. You are just the guide. But to be able to speak the language of your customer, you must be able to identify with their internal and their external challenges and their struggles. And so let me read you a little bit of this, because I identified specifically who my audience was for this book. They were bloggers, podcasters, coaches, platform builders, and maybe online entrepreneurs. So listen to some of this. I won't read the whole post, but I want you to listen to how you can take what we're working on and work it into your messaging with your audience. So there was a time not too far in the distant past when I struggled with blogging. At times I felt no matter what I did, I just couldn't grow my blog traffic to the next level. A lot of people can identify with that. With so many things to do, I was confused with where I should spend my time. There was so much advice online, some good, mostly bad. I never felt more alive when blogging, but I wondered if anyone was even really listening. Then there came the desire to earn money with my blog. How was I going to do that and not feel like a crooked salesman? I didn't feel comfortable thrusting myself into the limelight as the hero who has his act together and knows all the right answers. I also doubted myself as well. The fear of not being good enough creeped in, took residence and whispered to me that I just didn't have what it took to be a success. Why does this seem so much easier for everyone else? Now, probably when I just read some of that resonated with some of you, because I felt that, I've been there. And so being able to internally kind of communicate the internal thoughts and struggles and challenges is why we're walking through this process. So that's why identifying who this is for and thinking specifically about them is going to help you to nail it. Because if not, you're going to be like, hey, join my thing. Here's all the features. I have this class. I do this. I do that. And it all becomes about you. And suddenly you become the hero instead of becoming just the guide and allowing your audience to embolden them to say, hey, I know how you feel. Let me be your guide, and you can do this. This is something that you can do, whatever your topic or your passion is. So identify who it's for. And then lastly, what makes it unique? This is important. And I'll give you a really good example. There's a business book that if you haven't read, it's a great book. And it's called Blue Ocean Strategy. And the Blue Ocean Strategy, this is probably the clearest example. If you've watched TV since Christmas and you've watched any commercials, there is a war that's waging right now with many of the cell phone companies between AT&T and Verizon, T-Mobile, and all the other ones that are in the mix, Sprint. And they are going after one another. You know, Sprint came out with those very aggressive commercials on bring us your bill and you bring us your AT&T bill and we'll cut it in half. And then it shows people chainsawing the AT&T bill in half. And then you got Verizon saying, oh, well, we've got better coverage. Look at our map compared to AT&T's, and AT&T saying, no, actually, we've got better coverage. And so what you're experiencing with that war that's waging is a red ocean. And that is shark eating shark in that waging that war. But Blue Ocean Strategy is an entirely different realm altogether. Instead of attacking your competition, you decide what is missing from the other things that are out there that I wish that I had, and how can I deliver that to my audience? Now, I could give you a bunch of examples, but here's a clear example that the book actually talks about. If you've ever heard of Cirque du Soleil, then you know it to be a very high-ticket item with amazing acrobatic people who do some incredible things. And although they probably don't want to be likened to the circus, they took everything good and wonderful about the circus to a whole new level. They got rid of the stinky animals and everything else that many of us probably don't like about the circus, and they took it to a whole nother level. And frankly, that's why they charge more. They did a blue ocean strategy. They looked at the existing model and said, how can we be different? Now, you don't have to do that entirely be different in order to be successful. So don't misunderstand me. But what parts, when you look at what other people are doing, or you're just kind of glancing what other people might be doing in your niche, what is it that you wish they had that you could give or deliver for them? So that part is important. And again, you don't have to have 5 or 6 things, but just having 1 or 2 things can make an entire difference there. All right, so let's get to the pillars, which is the main section here, and then we'll get to some questions here. All right. So these are the 4 pillars, and these 4 pillars are going to help us with the how. This is the challenge. This is the struggle that many people face with the membership site is, how am I going to pull this off and not run my life, and yet provide the regular income, the stable income that I would like to receive, and be able to service members who want to stay with me for several months, if not years. So here are the 4 boxes. Let me mention them, and then I'm going to kind of just jump into each of these, and we're going to spend a few minutes here, and then we'll start taking some of your questions. All right, so we've got content, tools, promotion, and retention. So the left 2 boxes is going to help you think through your content and delivery plan. The actual, how am I going to deliver this membership site to my audience? And then the right 2 boxes are really, how am I going to attract members and keep them? And these are the essentials, being able to have and make and create good content, being able to have a way to deliver that content to them, being able to attract customers and keep customers is the 4 essential pillars of a membership site. So we're going to jot down a few ideas. You may want to write some of this down for each of these boxes. So under content, the thing that you want to think about with content, the most important thing is your content delivery schedule. So your content delivery schedule is, how often are you going to add new content to your membership site? And what happens for many people is they want to add so much value, and they want to make sure that their customers aren't going to cancel the first month, that they get on an unrealistic path. And that unrealistic path is maybe 2 or 3 pieces of content every week, or it's random. It kind of, 1 week it's 3 or 4 pieces, and then you're busy the next week, so then 1 piece comes in, and then the next week you try to catch up and you get 4 or 5 pieces of new content. And so there's just this kind of random pattern. So people either fizzle out right out of the gate because they try to pump way too much in the beginning, or they're too sporadic and it's hard for people to get into a steady groove with your content, and consistency always helps that. And so you need to determine up front, is this going to be, am I going to add 1 piece of content a month? Am I going to add 2 content pieces a month? Is it 1 a week? Or is it 1 or 2 a week, given that I know that I can deliver that on an ongoing basis? So I'm curious right now, just to kind of get some interaction from you guys, what feels right for you? If you have a membership site, and let's say that you wanted to do something that you were consistent with, what could you do? Go ahead and put it in the chat box. Is it once a month? Is it twice a month? Is it once a week? Or multiple times a week? Which one of those would you think feels natural for you out of the gate? And by the way, thanks, Harry. He posted in there 1,000,000 miles in 1,000 years. I knew it was something like that. I had it backwards. So thank you for posting that. It's a great book. So while you are adding that in there, what content fills the content delivery schedule, let me talk about the types of content that you can add in there. So the types of content you can add in there are articles that you write, that's just for your members. It's videos that you create, and those can be, there's all kinds of videos. It could be talking head videos, it can be teaching videos, kind of like what we're doing here right now. It could be you're showing them how to do something on the computer, which is over your shoulder kind of instructional videos. So videos are good. And then audios, MP3s are great as well, because having the ability to download that MP3, take it with me, or listen to it while I'm jogging, or if you're commuting to work, you can listen to it, things like that. So I see some of you have been putting in there, once a month is perfect, twice a month, a weekly video. I could do twice a month. As a member, I often feel overwhelmed by a weekly content schedule. I feel that once a week at a minimum for any updates of content. So it looks like you guys have started to think that through. And you really want to think this through long term, because like for me, I'm almost 2 years into this now. And so my schedule works well for me, and I've found a nice little groove with it, and so have the members inside the university and the membership site. I also think it's important too that you don't try to give too much on a regular basis, because then you don't want your customers to begin to think that they'll turn it on themselves and say, man, there's all this good content, I can't keep up, I might as well not even spend the money because I'm too busy, I just can't keep up with it. And so you don't want them to turn it in on themselves, where your side, you're trying to add the value, and they're receiving it and feeling it much differently, like, I can't keep up, so maybe I shouldn't pay for this because I'm obviously not using it because I can't keep up. So there's definitely a delicate balance that's there. So underneath content, the real two critical pieces are, what types of content are you going to deliver? Is it going to be a mixture? Is it going to just be video? I know, like, for a long time, Brendan Burchard, he charged $97 a month for his membership site, and it was one power pack video every single month. That was 45 minutes of him giving full-on instruction, and that's what you got, besides being a part of a community. Other people will deliver one content piece a week, and like I told you, mine is right now, it's twice a month, although there's plenty of content to absorb now that we've been doing this for a while inside of the university. All right, let's move on to tools. So this is a big question for people is, maybe you're saying, I'm not a technical person, I don't know how to code, I don't know how to get paid for my membership site, so I really just want to keep things simple. Let me share a few of my favorite tools for running membership sites. So the first tool is a website software called Kajabi, and that's spelled Kajabi, Kajabi.com. Kajabi. Now, here's the pluses and minuses of Kajabi. The plus is your user will never know that they're using Kajabi, because you can have your own domain name, and once they log in, you have your own brand. I mean, you've got your own header image, you got your own custom colors, your columns that have your content, things like that. A few of the downsides of Kajabi is It's not nearly as customizable. So if you said, man, on my homepage, I'd really like to have a notice box where I can just update them on something new. Kajabi is just pretty much going to be, I mean, it's a great software, and it's something that my membership site actually is on right now, but I'm getting ready to convert to a different platform for my membership site. And I'll mention that in just a second and why. But with Kajabi, what works the best about it is the fact that you don't have to know how to do coding. It's real easy. If you know how to do a blog post inside WordPress, then you'll know how to run Kajabi when you're in the membership or in the members dashboard side of it. Because adding a video is real simple. You can actually even upload your videos. You don't even have to have a video hosting like Vimeo or Wistia, because it allows you to upload the videos and there's no limit to the amount of videos and the amount of space. So that is a plus. If you want to do video and you want to just be able to upload it and have it available in your members area, it's super simple. You can schedule your post. So you could literally create content for the next couple of months if you wanted to and schedule it to be released. So it's got a lot of neat features. The downside, another downside for most people is that there's a monthly cost. Your typical monthly cost is $97 a month, and that allows you to have 3 projects or 3 different membership sites or 3 different products. I'm currently on the higher plan because I've got more courses that I have on Kajabi. So it is paying the $197 a month plan. But what I determined when I launched my first membership site was that I, in fact, was going to launch my membership site before I had to make that first payment to Kajabi. Because Kajabi allows you to have 30 days for free where you can go in there and you can have full access. You can create it, your membership site. You can get a feel for it. This is going to work for you before you ever have to pay that first $97 payment. And so the weekend before my 30-day trial was about to expire is when I opened the doors to my membership site and added my first 50 members at $20 a month. And so for me, that initial $1,000 a month members, I kind of saw it that $97 payment was going to be absorbed into the fact that I had already had paying members. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, the downside is if you're using Kajabi just to create products all by yourself, is you have kind of the diminishing returns happening where you've got, you're paying $97 a month, but maybe you're not selling as many one-time product courses. So this doesn't work as well, if you ask me, for that. The other plus about Kajabi, for those of you that aren't technical, is they have really good support. They actually have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week live chat support. So when you're in your members area and you're trying to figure out, how do I upload my header image, or I want to change a color on my membership site, you just hit the live chat button and they're there to help. In fact, they'll even do it for you, which is really cool. So live chat support is definitely a big plus. All right, so that's enough about Kajabi. Let me give you one more tool. And there's different tools out there, but these, I've done research on all of them. I know there's Wishlist Member. I've used Wishlist Member. I think it's a great plugin for WordPress, but it can be a bit technical for most people. So one that I am moving towards and gravitating towards is OptimizePress 2.0. Now, OptimizePress 2.0 is a one-time purchase. So you pay, right now, it's $97. And then you actually get 3 different types of downloads. You can download the blog theme, where you can use it as a blog theme and create some really cool pages without having to know coding. Or you can, if you already have an existing blog theme, you say, I really like the one that I have, you can download just the plugin. And the plugin has landing pages, really cool, very customizable landing pages You don't have to know coding. You can actually change elements out right on top of the landing page when you're actually looking at it. And then it has a third plugin, which is the membership site plugin, which allows you to set up a membership site. And it really is, what I love about it is it's very customizable, and I'm able to get the look and feel that I really, really want. And so, long story short, that is what I'm moving towards. And again, there's no monthly cost to that. It's just a one-time purchase, and it's working really well so far. All right, last thing on tools, and then we're going to get into promoting and retention, and then get to some of your questions, and then give you guys a copy of this blueprint. So the last tool is people want to know about is how do you get paid? Well, I started with PayPal. PayPal is a popular one out there. A lot of people have PayPal accounts. I've heard somebody once describe that people, if they have money in their PayPal account, they kind of see it as play money. That mindset might be changing now, but when there's money, they look at it differently. And so being able to offer a way for people to use their PayPal account is a good thing. For the most part, for you as the person who is the blog owner or membership site owner. But here's the one downside that I did not know about PayPal when I started with my membership site. You can create a subscription button where PayPal will automatically, every single month, charge that person $20 or the $30 that they signed up for. But the one downside with PayPal and their monthly subscription is the fact that they don't allow people who don't have a PayPal account to sign up. And by that, what I mean is, if you're selling a one-time product, let's say that your course is $97, then if somebody doesn't have a PayPal account, if you've still set it up by PayPal, they can actually still purchase using their own credit card. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's right there. It asks you to either log into your PayPal, or they can use their own credit card and purchase it using PayPal's payment system. But they do not allow that for PayPal subscriptions. So when I first launched my membership site, I was kind of shocked and surprised when I had 2 or 3 people email me and say, hey, I want to join, but I don't have a PayPal account. That's not a situation you want to be in, because you want to be able to, people who want to be part of your membership site, you want them to be able to pay and be a part of it. So I had to start looking for other options. Now there's ClickBank out there, but their fees can be a little bit high and pricey, but that's certainly an option. The one that I ended up going with, and the one that I'm currently using, is Deal Guardian. And you just look up dealguardian.com. There's no monthly cost. They take a percentage out just like anything else. There's pluses and minuses to Deal Guardian, I'll be honest with you. But what it has delivered for me is my customers can choose PayPal or credit card, even for my membership site. And I can offer affiliate programs with all of my courses and products. It's already built into it. So if you want a built-in affiliate program, Deal Guardian's great. There's many other features Deal Guardian offers as well, but the point is not to go into that in great depth. So we've thought through the content. Remember the content, we're thinking through how often do we want to deliver content. We've thought through the different types of things that types of content we want to create. We've thought about our tools. Now let's talk for just a minute about promotion. Okay, so promotion is how are we going to get this thing off the ground? First of all, you're going to be able to, like I said before, to take this blueprint and be able to help you in promoting this membership site that you're going to launch. Now, some of you that had the opportunity to download or watch my step-by-step tutorial on how I launched my membership site in 90 days, you're going to hear a little bit of this again. So what I initially did was I started with a very small group. I think starting with a small group is smart for a couple of reasons. Number one, it gives you as the owner the opportunity to kind of figure things out, because if you just let the doors open and people come in and then you're still trying to figure things out, people may be less forgiving. But if you say, I am forming a charter member group, and it's only going to be for an X number of people, and you're going to get in on the lowest price that I'm going to offer this, that creates its own buzz. People like being a part of something that's groundbreaking, something new. They like being a part of something very small. And so for me, when I said I'm only going to work with 50 people, you guys are going to help me think through how what the content should be. I invited them to be a part of. I surveyed them, told them, hey, what topics do you want to talk about? Or what topics do you want to learn about? And had them rank in order. And literally the one that got voted the most was the one that was the very first content piece that I created, besides the content that was already in the membership site when it started. When I first started, because some of you might be saying, well, what was actually in there? I had some of my basic courses already in there for people to watch, while we created new content, kind of getting on the new content delivery schedule I talked about. But for you, I would say, think about, maybe it's just 10 people. Say, hey, I'm doing this new membership site. Here's what it's going to be about, the problem it's going to solve, how you're going to solve it. And this is who it's for. And I'm going to take 10 people initially in it. Maybe it's 20. I started with 50. And for me, I started at $20 a month. And I said, this is the lowest price that this membership site's going to be. So now's the time to get in, and you're going to be part of a small group, and you're going to get to work with me personally, and it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. And you sell people on the vision of it. For me, I was able to fill that up within 48 hours. That kind of surprised me. I didn't know how long it was going to take, but I filled up 48 hours. When I hit 50, I put a waiting list on it. And then I just worked with those members for 30 days. And then after we got past the 30 days and I started getting a feel for, what it is that my audience really wanted, the members really wanted, then I opened it up again, and I opened it for 50 more members, and I closed it again, and it filled up. I think just might have been even faster, but it seems like it was around 48 hours again, then 2 days. Then I went 30 more days. And then the last one was a public launch. And the public launch, I actually left it open for 1 week. And here was what's surprising. Some of you might find this interesting, because you can use this to your own advantage when you launch your membership site. I would say when I opened it up and I said it's going to be open for a week, initially I had a rush of maybe 10 or 15 people sign up right away. But then something interesting happened. I didn't really see a lot for the first couple of days, until literally the last 24 hours, when I said, this is the last day, last time to get in. This won't be open for several more months. I added 35 new memberships at $30 a month that last day. Here's the point. People have good intentions, but when you create the urgency or the scarcity, you help people to take action and to jump in and get involved. And by doing that, it's going to help you to get some momentum, because when you have this rush of people come in, there's this rush of excitement. Now, I've done it both ways. I have left my membership site open, and I've opened and closed it, and I've gone back and forth. I would encourage you to experiment. There's no reason why you can't experiment. You can do whatever you want with your membership site. If you want to open it and leave it open and then send out an email and say, hey, I'm closing it down so that I can just service the members that I have, and this is the last day, you need to get in now, then by all means do that. I would say this, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. One of the disadvantages to closing it is you're not going to make any more in monthly revenue until you reopen it. So you need to be okay with the fact that you might lose some members before you reopen it. So if you don't have plans to reopen it for another year, then you're more than likely going to see your monthly revenue go down. But if you have a regular routine plan of opening and closing it, it can go really well for you because you can get more members in than just leaving it open all the time. All right. So that's on promotion. Last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll start taking your questions. If you guys have questions, go ahead and start posting those in there now, and we're going to take some of these questions. And then again, I'm going to give you access to this PDF where you can begin thinking through your own content strategy. Okay, retention. So how do you keep your members, and how do you keep them long-term? Well, there's a lot that we can talk about with retention, but let me just give you kind of a few ideas that can help. I think having monthly themes is something that I've done that's really helped me. And you can actually create anticipation for people. I've put things in the sidebar of my membership site, or I've sent out emails to my members saying, hey, next month, this is the topic that we're going to tackle. And that keeps people on, oh, I want to learn that, or that's something that I need to do. And so they stay on for another month. So having themed months is a great retention strategy. Another one is something I don't have currently, but there was a membership site that I stayed with for well over 2 years. And it was because they had a piece of software that was inside the membership site. So if you can have some type of a tool or a software that people can use, for me, it was they had this really cool tool that allowed for guest posting. And so other members could hook in their WordPress blog, and you could log into this membership site, type up a really good guest post, and submit it right in that software to other members to post on their blogs. And so because I used that tool, it made sense for me to keep being a member besides the training and the stuff that I was learning from that membership site. So software and tools is another good one. Contests are very, very popular and great way to create and keep members. I'll give you an example. We did one, I think it was last year, where we did a content creation month. And what I challenged the members to do is, I want you to create more blog content than you've ever created in a single month. I want you to really just buy into getting more content out there on your blog. And so we created a shared spreadsheet. I just used Google Docs. And I said, post your link to every one of your blog posts that you create this month. And whoever creates the most new blog content this month will receive a $100 Amazon gift card. And so it created this excitement. People were publishing way more blog posts than they usually did, because they would see other members who were posting more content in there, and it created this buzz and this excitement because they had the potential to earn a $100 gift card. And I think I gave $50 gift card to second place and $25 gift card to third place. And so doing contest is a great retention strategy. And then one more is creating a community. Having a forum. I have a forum in my membership site. It started off really good in the beginning. I began to sense that it was losing some momentum. And so I decided to create a Facebook private group. So literally when someone joins, they can click to also request to join this private Facebook group. And then in that private Facebook group, they have the opportunity to interact with other people, and they can ask me questions and I can interact with them as well. So community, contest, themed months, a software tool, all those things can help contribute to helping keep your members there. So before I get to the questions, I have a question for you. Are you serious about launching a membership site in 2015? I really want you to do this. This is something you can totally do. This is something that if you jot down your thoughts on this blueprint, you can launch a membership site. Now think about what that would be like. If you were to just get 50 members paying $20 a month, that's $1,000 a month regular income. Or what if you just did half of that? What if you did 25 members at $20 a month? And suddenly you have $500 a month in income. This is something you can totally do on the side. Your membership site's open all the time, and maybe you just create the content on Saturdays or create it in nights in the margin of your time. So you can have a regular day job and still create a membership site and get this thing off the ground. Out of all the things I've done, the membership site is probably been the most rewarding for me because I have been able to get to know my audience better than anything else that I've done. And it has provided a regular stream of revenue for me. You know, I still get paid for coaching and mentoring. I still get paid for speaking when I get out and speak. I get paid for product launches. I get paid affiliate income, but nothing is as guaranteed for me as a membership site. So here's what I'm going to do. I am actually going to open up a membership site blueprint mentoring session. In other words, I want to work with you one-on-one for 90 minutes. We're going to have a 90-minute one-on-one strategy session, just you and I with this blueprint and any other questions that you have. And by the end of that 90-minute strategy session, you will have completed a blueprint. You'd have a master plan for what to do. You're going to have email access to me for the rest of the year anytime you get stuck. You're going to have a launch plan. You know exactly what to do to launch your membership site. It doesn't even matter if you don't even have that big of an audience because everyone gets started somewhere. You know, my first product was actually a fixed term membership site. In other words, it was just for 16 weeks. Someone got charged for 4 months and then they stopped getting charged, but they paid $27 a month for 4 months. And I launched that with less than 1,000 people visiting my site every month. And I had 10 to 15 people join the opening weekend and added members along the way. So regardless of the size of your audience, you can launch a membership site. And also, I'm going to help you understand how to run a membership site that doesn't run you. I'm going to help you with the frequency of your content. So what I am doing is I'm only going to open up 5 mentoring spots. So I've already decided that, based on my calendar, this is what I have available. I'm going to have 5 mentoring spots. The cost is $247. And you can grab one of these spots by going to bloggingyourpassion.com/blueprint. So if you're just curious, you want to check out that page, go ahead and jump over there, type that in, check it out. But again, this is only for 5 people. It's $247. Now, to be very transparent with you, that may sound like a lot of money, but when you think about it on the return on your investment, it's really not. Because even if you were able to get, 20 members to pay you $20 a month, that's $400 a month. And so if I helped you to answer all the questions, develop a plan, have a blueprint, and know exactly what you're going to do, who your audience is, what the problem is you're going to solve, your content delivery schedule, the tools that you're going to use, how you're going to get paid, how you're going to promote it, how you're going to keep people in your membership site. I mean, what is that on your return on your investment? For you to be able to get 20 members paying $20 a month is $400 a month. You're going to recoup it in the first month and more. And it's something that's going to pay you ongoing, on and on and on. And so I just want to encourage you to take the opportunity to work with me one-on-one. And I did this in the earlier session today, and those spots filled up really quickly. In fact, after I got off the webinar, I saw that they were filled up. And so this is an opportunity for you to jump in and do that. So while I saw that we got some questions in here, I'm going to answer those questions just for about the next 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'm going to give you guys the link to the PDF blueprint so that you can download that yourself and work on that. All right, so let's answer some of these questions. Casey says, hey, Jonathan, what is your attrition rate? What percentage of members drop off in any given period? 1 month, 3 months, 1 year? So Casey, I'll be honest, it's been a couple months since I looked at this. I do periodically, I'd say once a quarter, I do look at this. And every time I've looked at it, it's been eerily kind of the same. Except for one determining factor, and I'll let you know what that is just a second. But I've found that those that have joined my membership site and other people, you know, if you want to look up the term and figure out if you're a real analytical person, it's what's called a churn rate, C-H-U-R-N, churn rate. And a lot of people that have those softwares that people pay monthly for, they really dive deep into that churn rate and understand it well. For me, anytime I've done the analysis between people who have started and stopped and then averaged it out, because I'm a simple person, that's the only simple way that I could do it. It's been somewhere between the 8 and 9 months. Now, I've had people leave and come back. In fact, a lot of people do that. Or maybe they have a period of time where they feel like they're not going to be able, you know, maybe the summer or maybe over Christmas break or something. But I find that for me, it's been somewhere around the 8 to 9 month mark. So for me, you know, let's say they're 9 months on average. Again, that's average. That's $270. So my lifetime value once I get someone to join is $270. And that's why for a little bit, Casey, for the last little bit, I've been experimenting at offering a $1 free trial to see if that if the numbers average the same. So if I can get somebody to pay $1 to try out the university, they see the value that's there, that turns into at least an average of $270 customer. So now, all that being said, I've actually had from that initial 150 people, I have had the majority of those are still in my membership site. So when I say that I've kind of figured out a simple way to look at my attrition rate, I don't know how to factor in the people who have been with me since the beginning. I purely just run the numbers on those who start and stop. So if I take those into consideration, if there's a way to do that, that number as far as length of stay is probably much higher. Harry says, why did you choose to use Gumroad for your latest course? Yeah, so first of all, Harry, I like trying different tools that are out there because, you know, I am a blogger who is helping people blog. And so I want to try things out to see how they work. One of the things that I like about Gumroad is for people that are just getting started, let's say they want to do their very first course, Gumroad is one of the simplest ways. And the reason for that is because it's super simple. I mean, if you know how to upload a file, you can sell something on Gumroad. So if you create a PDF and you want to sell the PDF, you just literally, what's the name of your product? How much do you want to charge? Write out a brief description of it. If you have an image, upload an image, and then upload your PDF. If you recorded a video, you can just upload the videos. And so the initial course for my membership site was actually something I created for another audience, an entirely friend of mine who had a different audience. And so he wanted me to create how I launched my membership site. And so then later I took that and I said, I bet more people would be interested in this as a standalone product. And so I used Gumroad, and literally once I had the idea, I was selling it that day by putting it out there. It also gives you coupon codes, so you can offer coupon codes for people as well. All right. Harry says, do you recommend a dedicated WordPress site separate from your blog for an optimized press membership site? Great question, Harry. I'm probably going to do both, but for my membership site, I'm going to have a separate domain name. I actually heard somebody the other day give a really good reason for it, and I think it is a valid reason, something to think about. If you do have a membership site that takes on its own brand, separate from your main blog, and I'll give you an example. I have a good friend of mine, Michael Nichols. He blogs on leadership and growth, personal growth, on his website, his blog, michaelnichols.org. And he's working on launching a membership site called Guidestone University. And Guidestone University is separate from his name. So here is realistically what he's doing is when you create a membership site and you have revenue, you now have a predictable income, a reasonable predictable income that if you wanted to sell it, you could. And so having it separate on a separate domain name with its own brand does give you the potential to sell it. I know people who have sold, those regular revenues of income. Sometimes you can sell them for anywhere from 10 to 15 times its monthly revenue. So an example is if you have a membership site that's generating $10,000 a month, and you wanted to potentially sell it since it's not connected to your name, and you sold it for 15 times, that's a $150,000 business that you can sell. So those are just one of the reasons. I mean, other reasons are that you can just kind of keep it separate and it's less confusing because they have their own place to log in, things like that. A tip says, how long should you have a blog before you launch a membership site? How do you know when your blog following is strong enough for this? Yeah, this is a question I get a lot. And when I look back at what I did, I think I was just naive, but it worked well for me. And that is that I went ahead and created the products. I went ahead and launched products. Even I wasn't waiting for my email list or my blog to get to a certain size for me to say, okay, now I'm going to offer something for sale. I think something happens. You move from just this person who kind of has a blog to actually opening a business when you have something to sell. And so, and I know some of the reservations are, because I know because I felt them myself. Some of the reservations are, well, I don't want to create content if I've got 2 members. I get that, and that's why you want to think through your membership site a little bit. But I also will say this, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I had less than 1,000 people that were, according to Google Analytics, that were coming to my blog in a single month. And yet I launched this course, and here's what I did. I launched a fixed term membership site. So in other words, it was called Job Search Mastermind. And what I did was I just wrote out, okay, if I were to teach everything I know about job search in 16 weeks, what would the topics be? And I did a quick outline. And then what I did was I created the first 2 weeks of content, the videos for that. Then I went out and sold it. I said, hey, I've got this 16-week course. It's cost $27 a month for 4 months. And here's what the course includes. And then I had 15 people purchased that the first week, and I did what was called drip content. You can write that down and you can Google it, but I'll try to explain it. Drip content is where they only receive, every week they receive the next week's videos. So week 1, they got an email saying, hey, week 1 is all about your resume. And so here's the 4 videos for your content for this week. And then week 2, they got another. Well, since I only created the first 2 weeks instead of creating all 16 weeks, because honestly, I was uncertain whether or not I didn't want to create all 16 weeks and then nobody buy it. So I created just the first 2 weeks. And then when the first 15 people purchased it opening weekend, then I was always a week ahead of them recording the content for the next 4 months, and they never knew it. It seemed seamless to them, like the content was there all along. So that is an idea to help you if you have some reservations. But at the same time, I'd encourage you that I think building a product pushes you and makes you more of an authority, and it actually attracts the audience. And I think if you talk to many pro bloggers today, they would tell you, I would have created products sooner because the product attracts the audience. Hope that helps. Tanya says, do you think fixed term sites are a good idea? For example, 3 to 6 months in length? Yeah, it's definitely something that I've done before. And I think, here's the advantages. The advantages, LaTanya, of doing a fixed term is if you drip out the content, like I just talked about, once you create the content, you don't need to create anymore. So it just kind of works for you. The downside is that there's a fixed term and you're going to have to regularly get people into that. You're going to have an ongoing promotion strategy for getting people into that. So yeah, there's pluses and minuses to that, but I've certainly done that before. All right. Not seeing any more questions coming in. So let me just make sure I didn't skip over anybody else's question here. Let's see. All right. And it looks like we got, before I do that, it looks like we do have a few people that have already grabbed some of those spots. So welcome to Jay. Welcome to Dave. Welcome to Harry. Glad to have you guys. I'll be communicating with you very soon. So it looks like there is just still, from what I can tell, 2 spots left. If you guys do want to get in on that, love to have the opportunity to work with you. And again, just go to bloggingyourpassion.com/blueprint. And let's see. Haven't seen any other questions. That I can tell. So let me go ahead and give you guys the free PDF. So here's the link to the PDF. You guys can grab that now and just go to bloggingyourpassion.com/membership. That's my thank you for being here. So whether or not you decide to jump in and work with me personally on developing and creating your membership site blueprint, there is a PDF that you're going to jot down your thoughts. These are the essential components. This is going to help you take this big, overwhelming idea of running a membership site, break it down to its simplest parts, and get something working for you. So whether or not you decide to work with me personally, I would encourage you to take this step. Think about what it would be like to have a membership site that earned $500 a month, or maybe $1,000, or maybe you could get it to $3,000, or maybe even $5,000 or $10,000 a month. And you can be helping people and yet do what you love for your work. It's an awesome thing. So with that, I think we're going to sign off. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Hopefully you've had a chance to grab that PDF link. And thank you guys for being here tonight.